Oh my god, you guys, did you hear? Captain America's a member of Hydra now, and he has been since 1926. What is going on? Okay, so, for those of you who may have noticed, there's been a lot of controversy related to the character of Captain America this week, which was weirdly well timed with the last video I did about why Bucky Barnes is my favorite Marvel hero. I didn't plan for it, it just kind of worked out that way. Now, a lot of people have been asking me about this new bit of controversy because, well, here's the thing. Being a Bucky fan for a long time means that I've also been a huge Captain America fan. Bucky's probably my favorite Marvel character, but Cap is definitely a close second, if not tied. I have loved Captain America my whole life. Probably before I was even a huge Bucky fan, I was a huge Cap fan, and I've continued to be a huge Cap fan. God, my final paper that I wrote for my history major, yeah, it was a study on 1940s Captain America books as propaganda. I love this character, and I've especially loved recent years when the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies came out that made people care about this character as much as I do. So, needless to say, within my friend circle and just generally because of my research into Cap and the stuff I do at conventions, including a 1940s Captain America panel, a lot of people have wanted to ask me what's up with Steve Rogers' Captain America #1, a comic that only came out a couple of days ago in this week of May 26, 2016. So, for those of you who don't know, what happened? Why are people upset? So after Steve Rogers was stuck not being a Captain America because he was an old dude with no powers because an incredibly racist caricature stole his powers from him, Steve Rogers is back in the mantle of Captain America after getting his powers restored to him by a humanoid cosmic cube. Yes, the Cosmic Cube, the Red Skull's favorite MacGuffin. We'll probably get back to that in a bit. See, this comic is setting up Steve Rogers' return as Captain America and has him doing regular Captain America stuff like fighting Hydra. In this case, a very Donald Trump supporter-esque Hydra. But still fighting Hydra. And while he's doing that, we have several flashbacks to his mom finding some connections back in 1926 that eventually lead to a reveal at the end of the book. That Captain America is secretly a Hydra agent and has been since the 20s. At least that appears to be the implication. Oh my good golly gosh. This is a really shocking ending. I'm not gonna lie, I just finished reading the comic about an hour ago, and it made my skin crawl. I'm not comfortable with this implication. It's gross. It's terrible. But here's the thing. I read a lot of comics, and that's why we all need to sit down and chill out. See, a lot of people have been reacting to this without even reading the comic. They don't even know the context. They've probably only seen this picture. Yeah, this one that's up on your screen right now. Very little context was added. Maybe they read an article or two, but everyone is upset that Steve Rogers could ever have possibly been a supporter of Hydra. And I find that really disturbing too. Hydra is basically a Marvel Nazi organization. They're cult-like, they're super science-y, but guess what? They're still fascists. And that's a really awful thing to imply. But at the same time, we have to remember, this isn't just a comic, this is an event comic. An event comic means something big, and in theory, world-shaking is about to happen. And as a result, something shocking almost always happens at the end of event comics, especially if it's a first issue, because they want the comic to sell. Here's the fact of the matter. This is only the first chapter of what is probably going to be a much longer story. And with comic story arcs these days, this could go anywhere from 6 to 12 issues, maybe even longer. But the point is, this is just the beginning of the story. We don't know the context yet. Me personally, I don't believe that Cap would ever actually be a Hydra agent. And while the editor of Marvel, along with Nick Spence, say that this is indeed Steve Rogers, although the writer of the comic, Nick Spence, has also commented that this might not be the same Steve Rogers we've seen from the past, even though Marvel's editor-in-chief seems to claim otherwise, this is still really... It feels like it's baiting the reader because this kind of thing happens in comics all the time. Something really shocking happens, it gets everyone's attention, people get really upset, and then it doesn't stick. This has been pretty much the status quo, especially since the death of Superman. Some of you are old enough to remember that, some of you might not be, but long story short, Superman was killed by Doomsday, the Ultimate Baby, back in 1991, and everyone made a huge deal about it. It was on the news, it was in real-life newspapers. Oh my god, Superman was dead. And not even a year later, it turned out he was fine and he came back. This kind of thing happens in comics all the time, and it's really weird that this is the thing getting people upset. Yes, a shocker at the end of a first issue meant to sell more comics. A first issue in a serialized story being published by a company that is in a dying industry on an obsolete format. Sorry guys, comics are dying. And sensationalism sells. Something that's going to be shocking and put this comic in the news and get people talking about it, you better believe Marvel's gonna want to do that. Furthermore, again, this is only the first chapter. We don't know the context of everything. There's a lot of things that could still be revealed. For example, are these memories from 1926 even real? Keep in mind, Captain America got his powers back from the Cosmic Cube. Those of you who may not know, the Cosmic Cube in the comics is not one of the Infinity Stones. It's just this weird MacGuffin that the Red Skull uses to do ridiculous bullcrap all the time. He's been doing ridiculous bullcrap with this thing since the 60s. And I'm including things like switching bodies, giving himself Saint Seiya armor, and on one occasion, Cap actually used the Cosmic Cube to give Winter Soldier his Bucky memories back. What I'm saying is, the Cosmic Cube has done ridiculous crap before, and giving Cap fake memories is one of the many things it could do. The Cosmic Cube is probably involved one way or another, though. That's almost for certain. You also have to look at it this way, you guys. This is Marvel, who are owned by Disney. Right now, Captain America, the Steve Rogers version of Captain America, is one of the most popular superheroes around. Winter Soldier and the still in theaters as I'm recording this Civil War have done very, very well at the box office. People love this character. People love these movies. That's not even mentioning his Avengers appearances, or my personal favorite, the first Avenger. People absolutely adore this character. Can you honestly see Marvel saying, hey, let's take this character who everyone loves right now and turn him into a Nazi? Also, in that same book, let's make him the main character anyway. Take a break, take a chill pill, relax. This is common. It may be a cheap move. You might even say that this is just being done for straight up shock value, and it's not very well thought out. And I am certain it's being done for shock value, but again, this story isn't finished being told yet. All in all, aside from that ending, I think this was a pretty solid comic, and I think the really interesting thing happening here, though, isn't in the comic itself, it's in people's reactions to it. People who haven't even read this comic yet are replying and responding to it with anger and vitriol, but that's because Captain America is finally a mainstay character again. Back before Captain America the First Avenger came out, back when really the only Marvel movies were Hulk and Iron Man, I remember religiously reading Captain America comics and being made fun of for it by tons of my friends, tons of my nerdy friends, other people from the anime club I was in. Just the very idea of this character was laughable to them. But in just a few short years, Marvel has taken a character who first appeared in 1941 and made him relevant to people again. And that's a major achievement. And I think the fact that people are getting upset about this comic, I don't think that they're getting upset for the right reasons. And for the love of Pete, stop sending Nick Spencer death threats, you D-bags. But what's important here is that people care about Captain America. They care about him so much that they can't stand the idea of him being a villain, of him betraying our trust, the idea that Cap could ever become an evil fascist. That's heartbreaking to people. That's awful for people, so I understand where they're coming from. And in a way, that's a victory for Marvel that they care about this character that much. I'm really glad that I'm not alone in caring about this character. So for now, until we know how this is going to play out, until we know that he's actually going full-on Parallax Hal Jordan, taking a classically good character and turning him evil for no good reason. Until we know that that's happening, let's all calm down for a second and wait to see what happens. Maybe there could be a fun story. And worst case scenario, if it really does end up being a pile of crap, they're probably going to undo it. Because that's the beauty and the terrible thing about comics. Everything changes, but everything also stays the same. From the Fifth Avenue studio, this is Nick Izumi saying, keep on Spockin' in the free world. Hail Hydra.